Formula One returns to Bahrain for this weekend's Grand Prix, and of course with it comes the huge amount of knowledge as well as data collected throughout pre-season testing this season. So what better place for all of the teams to trial out upgrades for this weekend? Now there are a couple of major teams bringing upgrades for the event, namely a highly publicized upgrade package for Ferrari. But a more lesser known one is that Mercedes could potentially be bringing quite a substantial upgrade to their floor of the W16. Now, outside of all of that, there are other bits and pieces of other teams bringing parts to their cars. But we're going to be focusing in on the top two teams that we know are bringing parts for this weekend, namely Ferrari and Mercedes. Now, to begin with, let's start with Ferrari. They are bringing an extensive package to their SF25 as they look to finally unlock all of the potential that is housed within the SF25. And of course, to do so, they need to alleviate two issues with their current package. One of those is the inability to run their car as low to the circuits as they wish to. And of course, on top of all of that, they want to improve just the overall balance and drivability that they can give to both of their drivers. And to do that, Ferrari are bringing major changes to numerous areas of the SF25. Those include changes to the rear wing, diffuser, an entirely brand new floor, and rear brake drums as well. So a substantial change and a substantial package to be put on the car and to go testing with this weekend. And all of these upgrades are undoubtedly going to be trialled by Lewis Hamilton in first practice, with Charles Leclerc giving his seat up to one of the rookies. And of course, it's going to be extremely important Ferrari hit the ground running with Lewis and do not run into any issues as they look to get data and do a back-to-back comparison between the two specifications of SF25 that will be on the track at the same time. Now, what can we expect in terms of lap time improvements from the car? Well, I think the initial number we can say and quantify here would be that they want to unlock the original amount of lap time that should have been in the car, because they are losing around 2 to 3 tenths that they should have been able to use. Now, if they can do that, that means they're going to be 3 tenths quicker. And then on top of that, we have the upgrade as a whole as well. So it could be maybe 4 tenths if everything goes spot on for the team. But these are all ifs, buts and maybes. No one knows, including Ferrari, how these upgrades are going to plan out once they hit the car and they go out onto the Bahrain International Circuit. Sticking with the big four, and now we can turn our attention to the Mercedes team, who have been what I would consider to be one of the most improved teams from 2024 into 2025, and they've not been spoken about much in the press and media and on social media. For me, they've arguably got the second quickest package no matter what circuit we've been to thus far, and I expect that to continue this weekend. Particularly so with the upgrade that they've been rumoured to be bringing, which is changes to the floor, specifically targeting the floor edges of the W16, which, according to experts as well as myself, just looking visually, is somewhat of a basic interpretation of what they could be doing with this region of their floor. All of the other big teams such as McLaren, Red Bull, and Ferrari, ironically, have a much more intricate and detailed array of floor edges on their respective cars. And I think Mercedes are finally going to start to bring improvements, advancements to this particular area as they look to close that gap down to McLaren. Now, for this event, the team could struggle a little bit more than usual as their weaknesses are very much in the slow speed corners, from which the Bahrain circuit has many of those. So these upgrades are, of course, specifically targeting that particular weakness, along with a improvement in terms of the tyre management, and we're talking about degradation of the tyres over a Grand Prix distance. Now, if they can find improvements from these upgrades that they should be bringing to Bahrain, this should bring them ever closer to the front leading team of McLaren, and from that they may be able to challenge them across a Grand Prix distance. particularly if they can qualify on the second row at the bare minimum. That was their Achilles heel last time out in Japan. They were not able to utilize and maximize the tyres in the manner through which George Russell as well as Antonelli would have wished to, particularly with Russell on his final lap. His tyres were not in the optimum window. So this package should help with their overall tyre preparation for qualifying as well as the management of the tyres through a Grand Prix distance. So look for Mercedes being a dark horse for this weekend. Now, outside of the two teams mentioned thus far in the video, we really do not have any understanding or ideas about what other teams are bringing updates for this event. And I think it's interesting that's the case, because I think if a team who hasn't brought upgrades so far this season, you would expect them to be targeting an event from which they have a huge amount of data to go off of. So I do expect to see some of the teams that haven't brought upgrades thus far this season bring them for Bahrain, because it makes sense logically for them to do so for this event. It's the fourth race of the season. It's been a couple of months since the start, or a month since the start of the 2025 season, and thus they've had more than ample amounts of time to bring and to manufacture an upgrade package of some degree to their cars. So do not be surprised to see upgrades from quite a few teams that we do not know about just yet. But yeah, that is where I'm going to end this video, everyone. Hope you've all enjoyed it. If you have, do leave a like on the video down below. Hit the subscribe button if you're new and have enjoyed the content here on F1 Unraveled. And I will catch you all later on this weekend, hopefully with some exciting fallout from an eventful, hopefully, Grand Prix in 2025. Catch you all later.